And welcome back to the RJ Chapman Show. I am your host, producer, Jonathan Lindsay. And today's guest, we've got RJ Chapman.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, Jonathan, again.
I say this every time. Well, we got a very special guest.
We got a very special guest.
Very special guest. All right, so we've got, this is good to do. Circle back and ask some questions about you personally. I mean, you're always interviewing other people.
I know. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And, this gives a chance for the audience to learn a little bit more about you and maybe delve deeper into topics that you haven't quite touched on before.
I love it. Yeah, it's really an opportunity. I love these things. So fire away, Jonathan. I'm ready. Okay.
So who was the most unforgettable person that you served with?
Oh, well, that would have to be Captain P.A. Moore. I was in a big communications command in Naples, Italy, and my captain was a pilot, and he was so cool. Pilots are cool, and this guy was cool.
They're like the football players of the...
Yeah, they're like they're like rock stars, pilots, yeah. And P.A. Moore was just the greatest guy. So here's P.A. Moore at a communications thing, and he's a pilot. And here's Master Chief Chapman, who's a submariner, doesn't know anything about communications. He doesn't either. And we're in charge because we have leadership skills. You don't have to know how this thing operates. But we had a big meeting because we were going to go from one command to another, move the whole building and all the stuff inside it. And we're sitting at the meeting, and I'm one end of the table, and the captain's at the other. Have you heard this one?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I haven't
good.
heard this one.
And all these people that know everything in the world about communications are briefing the captain on the big move. We're going to turn this stuff off here, and we're going to turn it on back over here, and everything is going to work out. Now remember, this building handles all the communications for half the world in the United States Navy. There is another place that handles all the communications for the other half of the world. But while we're shutting our switch down and turning it on here, that other command has to do every communication for the world. So we got to get it right, and we can't be goofing around with it. So we're having this big brief, and my captain, he's nodding his head, and I'm thinking, he doesn't know what they're talking about, but he acts like he does. I'm kind of giggling to myself, and this guy says something. He goes, well, Captain, once the Dama mucks are disconnected and reconnected, we'll be in really good shape. And I remember he said that, I thought, wow, whatever that is, sounds pretty cool. And so then finally at the end, the brief's over, and the captain, he looks at me. PA looks at me, and he goes, well, Master Chief, what do you think about all this? And I looked at him like, are you kidding me? You really... I don't know nothing. I know you don't know nothing.
Right.
Why are you putting me on the spot? And I looked at him. I said, I tell you what, sir, I'll be really happy when those Dama mucks are disconnected and reconnected and we're back online. And he goes, thank you, Master Chief. He was a great guy. God rest his soul. He has passed. But just a lot of fun to be with. Real quick story about him too. We would travel to Bahrain. We would travel to London, Sigonella, Rhoda, because we owned little commands. So we're like the mothership, and we have these other 5 little ships that we go visit all the time. But whenever he would go visit, he had to have a purpose. So usually like a change of command, and PA would be the guest speaker, and he'd be talking. But before we get there, we'd be like in London. We get off Heathrow, and we get in a train to get to wherever we're going, and he's writing on a napkin. And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just doing my speech. I'm like, what? He would write like 3 little things on a napkin, and he would give a 20-minute speech that would inspire the planet. I was always taken back at his ability to do that.
Right.
It was very, very special. He was kind and gentle to everyone. If you made a mistake, okay, you made a mistake. If you did it twice, that's a trend, and we got a problem.
Right.
But hey, you know what? We're all human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
I love P.A. Moore to this day. And real quick finishing thing, he had a brain aneurysm, and he was in a wheelchair for a long time, and I didn't see him. And it's a couple hundred miles away from here. And his wife called me and told me that he died. And she said, Master Chief, can you come to the funeral? And I said, Debbie, I'll be there. And I went to the funeral. It was tough. But at the end, they brought the casket out and they put it on these rollers to roll it into the hearse. And it was sitting on the rollers, and Debbie came up to me and she says, Master Chief, send him home. And I pushed it into the hearse. So he's big in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what you were saying earlier, you know, it kind of, there's like a overlap with, you know, leadership and, you know, charisma, because you know, you want to have great leadership skills, but that also includes inspiring people and being able to influence people. And I mean, you're a very charismatic person.
Thank you.
So, you know, it makes sense that you were in a very high leadership position.
Right.
So, you know, talk a little bit about that. You know, the connection between charisma and leadership.
Right. That is such a great thing to talk about. I don't know if you can, I think it's kind of natural and it's pretty rare, but if you can combine the two, and everybody can do it. It takes a little bit of work, obviously. You know, if you're there to win friends and influence people, you're probably in the wrong job. But you still don't have to be. You can still be a friend. Like, look at PA here. PA Moore. He's a captain in the United States Navy. I'm an enlisted puke. You know, I'm the command master chief, and I'm way up there and all that kind of thing. But the differences are night and day. But we cross into a gray area that works for everyone else. It is just crazy. And you talk about charisma. Let's say you have a PA Moore and an RJ Chapman. Now you can get it done.
Right.
You can get it done. And guess what? It's sort of fun along the way. And then everybody's having a good time. Even us. We don't want to have a bad time. We don't have ugly things. They happen. You know, you got to deal with them. But that charisma thing, that leadership charisma, plus a little bit of knowledge about what's going on. Put the three of those things together, unstoppable. Really good question, man. I like it.
Thank you. So we've had a lot of military Navy people on the show, and
Sure.
Dan was coming on, and you know, you guys talked about, you know, the older Navy people are saying, "Oh, you young kids are going to ruin the Navy."
Right.
So what's some advice that you would give for a young sailor or for a young person that's about to enlist in the Navy specifically? What kind of mindset do they need?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked me that. And this is crazy. I got a phone call yesterday from the University of Georgia from one of my kids who's in the Air Force NJROTC program, and he's on his second year. And it's funny how many phone calls I get from my kids from my classroom that remember something I said, but need to hear it again because they didn't quite get it the first time.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why didn't you take notes or whatever? But he calls me up, and he's in the Air Force ROTC, and he goes, Master Chief, what was that thing you told me about the Roth IRA, and what am I supposed to do with my money, and how do I make rank? How do I get up there faster? I said, listen. I'll say his name, Samus. He says, I said, listen, Samus, just do three things. When you first get in there, once you get out of college, you become an officer, do your job. In the beginning, kind of keep your mouth shut. You really don't know enough to say much. Unless it's a safety issue, then pipe up. Right? So do your job, keep your mouth shut unless it's safety, and look good. And you know, Dan said a very important thing, be better the next day. Just a little bit better. It doesn't, incrementally, you know, and I just think those are really words, especially when you're first starting in. You know, my deal was I got in 6 days out of high school. Right now, you can join the Navy at 36 years old.
Oh, wow.
You can start a career in the United States Navy at 36. And let's say you do 20. Okay, you're 56. You got a retirement check for the rest of your life. And you got your medical benefits paid for the rest of your life. Maybe you took a little while from 18 to 36, but you finally turned the corner, found out this didn't work and that doesn't work and this doesn't work. Because here's about the Navy. The Navy can work for everybody. Any armed service thing, it'll work for you. We will find your niche, and you will fill it, and you will be fulfilled, and you will help defend the country. And it's an honorable thing. People are always saying to me, thank you for your service. And I've learned to say thank you. You're welcome. You know, I didn't used to do that. I used to say, oh, it was nothing to it. But the more I think about it, there was quite a bit to it. And it's just a great profession. It's a wonderful profession if you want to give it a shot. But there's a place where everyone will fit.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. Or you're saying one of the three things was to keep your mouth shut.
Right.
And that's very, some people downplay the importance of not talking.
Sure.
A lot of people want to come in, they want to talk, they want to change things.
Right.
But sometimes the most important thing that you can do is kind of sit back, listen to everybody, observe yourself, or observe the way things flow or the way things are working. Because, you probably remember when you were an enlisted or when you first joined.
Sure.
You get some new brass that comes in and they want to change everything.
Right.
And you little guys have been doing something the same way, or you found things that worked. It's one of those things where it's like you don't know until you've had to do it yourself.
Correct.
And if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, or the same job, you will naturally find the way that kind of makes it flow easier.
Yes.
So I think listening and not trying to just change everything as soon as you get in there.
Right.
It's important not only to observe on your own for your own eyes, but also to listen to how everyone else has been operating so far, and listening more to like their complaints about it.
Sure.
Like if we had this, or if we could do it this way,
right.
Something like that.
You got a really good point with listening, and that's an acquired skill. Because it's easy to talk. It's tough to listen. It really takes a lot to hold your tongue, listen, watch, pay attention, and you'll be surprised that the more listening you do, the better result comes out of your mouth, or something that can help everybody in some kind of way. It's funny, I go to Sunday school, and I don't say a whole lot in Sunday school, but they get into discussions and all that, and one of the things was, these people, they need to, find the Lord, because they say, well, I don't care. I know I'm going to go to hell anyway, and you say, and I don't say much. And I said, and then the preacher said something. I said, when people say that, they don't know what they're saying. They have no clue. And if they did, they would not say that.
Right.
But it's just and then everybody stops. Oh, Master Chief's talking. I'm just saying a couple of words, just throwing it out there. And I like that, but it comes from listening and paying attention to what everybody in the room is saying. And you really say everything everybody said, but you did it in 4 words.
Right. It's almost like a supply and demand curve. It is. It's like the less that you say, the more important that the words that you do say become.
And it's funny when I do talk, when I participate, they all stop. Everybody stops. What's he going to say?
Right.
Because it has value.
Yeah.
It has value. I'm not right or wrong all the time, but I have common sense and make it clear to everybody.
All right. So as some people know, I live on a boat.
Right.
And whenever the jet skiers go by, it kind of rocks it. But I've gotten used to it. But come hurricane season, it gets pretty rough. And there's probably only one hurricane where I've left and gone.
Did you get underway?
Gone to a house? No. So all the other ones I've stayed on the boat. So you've been on submarines and carriers and battleships. So when was the time that you most felt the power of the ocean?
Oh, well, there's a couple of times on a submarine, and let's pretend you're at 400 feet. It's just like sitting in this room. I don't care if Hurricane Wilma is crushing the Atlantic Ocean. If you're at 400 feet, it's just like this. But I remember one time we came up to 150 feet, and Hurricane whatever was doing it, and we were rocking and rolling at 150 feet underwater. And I'm thinking, what's it like up there? Can we go down to 400 feet, sir?
Right. Go a little deeper.
Okay, Cobb. Go down to 400 feet. That was the submarine experience. I knew up there was not good. We ended up not going up. We didn't have to go up, so we didn't. But I did get stationed on a big ship. This ship is 200 feet smaller than an aircraft carrier. So it is an aircraft carrier. It has a flight deck. It has 30 aircraft. It's pretty big. 1,500 sailors, 1,500 Marines. I don't know where we were. We're in the middle of nowhere, and we get the word, the weather's getting bad or something. So we're we're chaining down all of this planes and stuff. And here it hit us. This thing hit us to where our bow went under the water. Yeah. And then the water came up over the ship. So now we're like a little tiny thing. You're big and bad next to the pier. You ain't crap out in the middle of the ocean. And it's trying to get in. It's trying to get you.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me was we were going up and then boom. And we were trying to figure out which way to turn to lessen this problem. But as we were going up and then boom, you could hear stuff inside the ship flying around, like filing cabinets smashing into walls and desks and chairs, because surface ships aren't that good about tying everything down because they're so big they normally don't have to worry about it. But this lasted for a while, and finally it subsided.
How big was the ship?
Oh gosh dang. So it's about 980 feet long.
Oh wow.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, we took my dad's boat from Jacksonville down around Florida and then up to Palmetto. And the Gulf of Mexico was supposed to be like the calm portion of the trip. We ended up getting a lot of winds and huge waves, and I had the night watch. So I was I was midnight to 4 a.m.
Oh gosh.
And my dad.
It's a sailboat.
Yeah, it was a sailboat, and this is a 43-foot sailboat. Yeah, and my dad and my now brother-in-law.
Yeah.
They were sleeping, trying to get some rest because one of them had to come up at 4 a.m. And I mean, it was just beating us up till finally, we heeled over. My brother-in-law flew out of his bunk. Stuff was going everywhere. All of the cutlery and plates and stuff was flying. And my dad comes up, and they're trying to clean up everything. We hit another one. And I hear a crash. My dad flew from one side of the boat, landed on the table, broke the table. Yeah, he came up. He wasn't very happy, but we ended up having to reef the sail. But I mean, it gets rough.
It does.
I mean, for a storm to affect a 900+ foot boat,
right?
I mean, or ship.
Yeah.
That's a mega storm.
Yeah, these waves, they were like mountains.
Yeah.
That's the size of this thing, and it's very unpredictable. I mean, the weather's going to be bad. You don't know how bad.
Right.
And it goes away as fast as it comes sometimes, and it's a lot better when it's calm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can imagine. Here's one that kind of goes off of this previous question.
All right.
Did you ever have a moment at sea where things got genuinely dangerous?
Well, I've had 3 fires on submarines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and any time that there's a fire on a submarine, that is dangerous.
Yeah.
I will say this is a good story. We do this thing called a tiger cruise, and a tiger cruise is where you get to take your family. You get to take your dad and your kids and all that, and go out to sea for a little while. Well, we did this thing. It was called the Tiger Cruise, but this one was for dads, and it was on a submarine. And we took 10 dads from San Francisco to San Diego. So this is like a little 2-week trip. This isn't out for a day, So here come all the dads, and I'm the chief of the boat. I'm the big guy, I'm running this gig with the captain. And we get them all in the chow hall where they're going to eat. And we say, all right, now, if something goes down, you reach under this thing here and you grab this mask and you put it over your face and you plug in here so you can get oxygen. And they're all following the rules. I said, all right, let's have a test run right now. 3, 2, 1, put it on. So here's all these old guys putting these masks on. They all sound like Darth Vader. Their eyes are big. And so we're out there for like a week and a half, probably a week. And I go up and saw the captain. Now, my dad, he was a fireman at the time. And I went up and saw the captain. I say, hey, Captain, we got to have a fire drill for these guys so we can show them, what we do in action. And the captain goes, okay, Cobb, yeah, we'll have a fire drill. I'm like, all right. So I go down to the chief's mess to start playing poker with the dads. And bong, 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 fire in the engine room, fire in the engine room. I'm like, you have a brief before you do a fire. Mm-hmm. So I know it's real.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm supposed to be like first or second on the scene. It's a long ways away, so I'm, the flash. And I get back there, and there is a panel. There's a big electrical panel smoking. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. Well, then they secured power. The smoke stopped. But the submarine's got a little bit of smoke in it. And when I came back to cruise mess, here's all the dads.
With their mask on.
And their eyes are big as crap. I take off my mask. I go, you're going to be okay. The fire's out. but keep your masks on. Those old guys are breathing them out.
That's fine.
And after it was all over, we ventilated. We got the bad air out. We brought some good air in. This one old guy comes up to me. Cobb, here's $100. Give it to the rec committee for saving my life. That was a good time.
That's good. So in Toastmasters, you did a speech called "The New Guy."
Oh yeah.
So what's the best or worst prank that you've ever seen pulled on somebody?
Oh my gosh, that's the greatest question of the world, and it was pulled on me.
Oh.
As the chief of the boat.
Oh no.
I'm the chief of the boat of this submarine. I'm it.
Yeah, you're top dog.
Yeah, and we were in port or something, and the chiefs, they all said, we need a stereo system in the chief's mess. We need something we could play our CDs on. So I went up to the tender, brought some coffee, a little hook or crook, and got this guy to come down and put this nice little stereo system in the chief's mess. I was very proud of myself. And it plugged in. There was a little plug that went into this thing here. Well, everything on a submarine that has a plug has to be safety checked. And once it's safety checked, that's to make sure that the ground is right and all that. A little tag goes on it that says safe. And this little guy has to measure it and all this kind of stuff. And he's a chief. He's a friend of mine, Eddie Lewis. And Eddie goes, Cobb, you got to get that thing safety checked. I'm like, Eddie, you just leave the stereo alone. It's fine. And he goes, because if it doesn't get safety checked, you're supposed to cut the plug off.
Oh, okay.
So it can't be used because you didn't get it safety checked.
Right.
I told Eddie, just leave your stinking hands off my radio, whatever it was. So one morning I'm sleeping. I've got the watch. And I get up and I've got my favorite CD, Madonna. And I want to listen to Vogue. I want to listen to this song before I go up there. And I go out to the chief's mess to put my CD in, and there's just a wire hanging. The plug has been cut. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. And there's a little tag on it that says, there's a little green cross that says, safety starts in the chief's mess. I want to strangle Eddie Lewis, but he's sleeping. So I'm going to let it go for a minute. And then all of a sudden, bong, 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 man battle stations. Well, I'm the diving officer of the watch, and Eddie Lewis, he's the chief of the watch that makes it. So he works for me. I think I need to move water from here to there. I tell him, he does it. He's wiping the boogers out of his eyes because he just woke up. And I'm mad. I'm mad at him. But we're at battle stations, I'll handle it later. So I said, Eddie, move 1,000 pounds of water from this tank to that tank. He goes, okay, Cobb, 1,000 pounds. So I'm hearing the pump, tick, 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 tick. And I know he's pumped more than he should have. I said, Chief of the Watch, how many gallons have you pumped? 1,500. I said, secure pumping. Move 500 back. So now, not only has he cut the plug, he's messing with me with the water. And now I'm really getting mad. Mm-hmm. Finally, we secure from battle stations. I grab the speaker that talks to the whole ship. This is the Cobb. All chief petty officers report to the chief's mess now. And I go down there, right? And they're all in there. And I'm laying into them about that, cutting that plug and getting, I went through everything to get this for you guys. And I see one of them go. I went, Alan Feenstra. He giggled. And I'm thinking, why would he giggle in a point? I've lost my mind twice in my life. This was one of them. I lost my mind. Mm-hmm. And he giggled. And I'm like, and I reached up, and it was just a little piece of cord like this. They had hidden the real cord. They didn't cut it. It's a story to this day. As a matter of fact, I have a framed thing with a piece of wire from Alan Feenstra with a little tag on it that says, "Safety starts in the Chiefs' quarters." Best prank ever.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I mean, it didn't help that that Louis was messing with you when he was moving the water too.
Well, he was asleep.
Oh,
You know, he was a dead sleep. He probably missed the what I was asking him to do. But I took it as, oh, not only did he ruin my stereo,
Right.
now he's doing the wrong thing.
Right.
As a matter of fact, we had dinner last night down in Fernandina. Alan Feenstra and Eddie Lewis.
Oh, nice.
And we brought up that story at the Italian restaurant. We laughed so much. It was good.
That's great.
Good question.
All right. Well, I mean, it's been great talking to you and
Yeah.
and asking you some of these questions.
Yeah.
You know, I always enjoy coming on here and hearing your sea stories.
Sure.
Well, everybody, you know, hit that like button, subscribe, so that way you can keep up with RJ and his sea stories and coins. And we have plenty of people that we interview on here.
Yeah.
They're so interesting. I mean, I just video it and
Yeah.
edit it, and you know, these people have such amazing stories. And
It's been a lot of fun today, Jonathan. Thanks for coming up and doing it.
Yeah.
And hit the like or whatever you guys got to do. We're trying to get them watch hours. Oh, can I give an update on the sign?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got the sign.
hey,
We got
that's great.
$50,000 for the church sign.
That's excellent.
And they're building it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.